Did the San Francisco 49ers get better or did they get worse during free agency? That is the question that we are going to answer right now. We are going to take a look at all the moves, every single one of them, and also discuss some potential moves that might still happen as we actually have a player at the 49ers facility right now. So let's talk about it, let's discuss it, and let's get to the bottom of it. Did the 49ers get better or did they get worse? And in that, let's start right here with the moves that the players that have left the 49ers that are no longer here and have found other teams elsewhere. So let's start at the top. Chase Young traded for from the Commanders. The 49ers gave pick 99 in this year's draft class. It's a comp pick. So it was the Rand Carthon, D'Amico Ryan's pick, traded to Washington. We get Chase Young. Chase Young signs with the Saints. $13 million guaranteed on a 1-year deal. Just had neck surgery. I don't think too many fans are too worried about that. I think we all kind of were aware heading into this offseason that this was the most likely outcome. So I don't think fans are too worried about that, but we understand that is a position that needed to be replaced, and we will get to that in a little bit. I think one of the biggest losses for the 49ers this year was Eric Armstead. Obviously, they approached him about a pay cut. He declined, and it resulted in his release, and he goes and signs with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think this is going to be the most impactful move for the Niners in making the case for, the worst category, because I do believe they got worse at defensive tackle by not having Eric Armstead. Sebastian Joseph Day signs with the Titans. I don't think this moves the needle at all. He was signed mid-season after being released by the Chargers. He didn't play. No issue here. Linebacker Oren Burks, who was the 49ers linebacker 3 last season and played a key role in special teams. I think his special teams role will be something that the 49ers need to replace. But I did think they went out and did a good job of coming in and bringing in another linebacker. So I think Oren Burks signing with the Eagles, I don't think anyone's going to be too upset about that. Ray McLeod signing with the Falcons. I think he left a little bit to be desired as a primary returner for the 49ers, and he didn't offer much as a receiver either. So not too stressed about that one. Javon Kinlaw going and signing with the Jets. Obviously, this was Javon Kinlaw's best season as he was fully healthy and played in every single game. So losing Javon, I think, stung just a little bit considering you drafted him number 13 overall, effectively trading DeForest Buckner for him, and to see him sign elsewhere, stung a little bit. I would have liked to have him back. And another guy that I would have liked to have back was Cleveland Farrell, who signed with the Commanders on a decent deal, really cost-effective deal for the Commanders. And we knew how effective he was as an edge setter in the run game and how much that was missed when he went down with injury in the playoffs. But hey, I think the 49ers did a good job replacing him, and we'll talk about the replacements in a second. Sam Darnold leaves and has the potential to be the starting quarterback right now for the Minnesota Vikings, and I think that will net a comp pick. So I like that move. Good for Sam coming in for a year, backing up Brock, and potentially getting a shot at a starting job, if not a bridge quarterback and or competition in camp for the Vikings. Tight end Charlie Warner. Actually, this one I didn't love because the 49ers have had a hard time really kind of finding a tight end 2 beyond Charlie Warner. And Charlie Warner has held down that role, even amidst the 49ers taking Cameron Latu and Braden Willis in last year's draft. He was their primary tight end 2 because he was a phenomenal blocker. He's one of the better blocking tight ends in the NFL, just happened to play behind George Kittle. So that one, I didn't like that much that we lost him, but he got paid. He got like $8 million guaranteed over a 3-year contract. It's pretty solid for a tight end 2 with 11 catches in 4 seasons. Matt Pryor signs with the Bears. Perfectly fine with that. No issue at all. 49ers, of course, cut Isaiah Oliver, I'd say. Most 49ers called that a win. But let's talk about the moves that the 49ers made. They bring in quarterback Josh Dobbs, is one of my favorite signings of the free agency period for the 49ers. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback too. He's going to be a great guy to have in the room with Brock Purdy. Absolutely love it. And if Brock Purdy has to go down for whatever reason, I have infinitely more confidence that Josh Dobbs will win the 49ers football games than I did in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's just younger, has more arm talent, more upside just because of his age and the talent that he possesses. But I think we all feel more confident with Josh Dobbs. So I think that's an upgrade in my opinion. I really do. I think the 49ers upgraded over Darnold. So to me, they got better at quarterback too. Ezekiel Turner is going to come in to kind of fill that special teams role, I think, left by Oren Burks. He was a Pro Football Writers of America rookie, first team guy, all pro for special teams. So he also has a blocked punt under his resume on Mitch Wishnowsky in 2020. So I think it's a wash move right there. And of course, the 49ers bring in Devondre Campbell after the whole Eric Kendricks fiasco. I think Eric Kendricks would have been a nice fit. Devondre Campbell definitely had a down year last year after having an all-pro season in 2021, but he has been very vocal on social media about how he was misused with the Green Bay Packers. So there could be a chance that he is used the correct way with the 49ers and can be a actually an impact signing because we anticipate he will play a lot of football with Dre Greenlaw being out for a significant amount of time. Now, we talked about the defensive tackle. The 49ers go out and get Malik Collins, which they were trying to do a straight-up trade of Eric Armstead for Malik Collins. That trade fell through because the Texans signed a big free agent. All that money got tied up. So it just turned into a 7th-round draft pick for Malik Collins, and then the 49ers released Eric Armstead. Armstead goes to the Jaguars instead. So quite the butterfly effect there. But the 49ers also signed defensive tackle Jordan Elliott, who's been a starter with the Browns, is kind of a run stuffer kind of a guy. I think you get worse at defensive tackle. I think Malik Collins brings some upside to the pass rusher, but I don't think he's better than Eric Armstead, and I don't think the combination of those two are better than Eric Armstead. So I think the 49ers got worse at defensive tackle throughout free agency. But when you get to defensive end, I think they got better at defensive end on the opposite side of Nick Bosa. You go out and get Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd is not going to be a 3-down defensive end, in my opinion. He is going to be a pass rusher savant. His number one goal, get after the quarterback, speed, and more speed, pass rush moves. This is a guy that I think fits the mold that I've been trying to fill since Dee Ford has left. I have not been looking for big ends. I have been looking for speed, Leos, guys who are going to be able to have first step get off and win and push the pocket instantly to allow guys like Bosa and your Hargraves to be able to clean up. My biggest thing was looking for a speed element off the edge, move quarterbacks off their spot, and the rest is history after that. Yetur Gross-Matos, I think, is actually an underrated signing. This is one of the signings that has grown on me the most. I think he is going to be your base down edge, kind of what Clelin Ferrell did in the run game. And I think he's going to have the opportunity to kick inside and rush the passer over the guard like Eric Armstead did. So I think he's going to have a hybrid role where he can fill in for Clelin and he can fill in for Eric Armstead as well. So I actually like that move quite a bit. Isaac Yiadom is an interesting signing because very cost effective to the Niners, but he has starting upside. So this could be a guy that might shock us in training camp, come out, be better than anyone expected, and lock down one of those starting spots. So I think that's going to be a very interesting development moving forward. And then the 49ers also signed defensive back Chase Lucas. He's played primarily special teams in the league. He's an older, younger player, if that makes sense. I believe he's 27, but he's only had 2 years in the league. He spent a lot of time in college through the COVID year and all that stuff. So I see him primarily as a special teamer. And when I look at Brandon Parker, I see him as at best a swing tackle, but likely a camp body. So we shall see how that ultimately works out. When you see the players that have uh, left in free agency, and then you look at the players that have can't come in via free agency, I feel like, with like I talked about, upgrade at QB2. I would say at linebacker, a bit of a wash just because you're losing Dre Greenlaw for a good portion of it. And you lost Oren Burks. So it's still kind of a wash feeling. I would say you got worse at defensive tackle, but you got better at defensive end. And that defensive tackle could level out if Yetur Gross Matos does do, in fact, what I think he's going to do and rush over the guard, then that can improve. I think the cornerback room gets better just because you get a potential starter in Isaac Yadam out there. And I think that's a better spot to be in than what they had with Isaiah Oliver. So we'll see how that looks. And then when we look at the guys that have been brought back, you bring back Jonathan Feliciano, starting right guard. I think that's a crucial signing. They got him on a solid deal. I think that's a great move. You get Feliciano back. I think that was a crucial move and a hole to fill as the 49ers head into the draft, because I think they are going to spend some capital on offensive linemen. And I think that will be an interesting development as we see. They also re signed a wide receiver, Chris Conley. We saw that he's been a great special teamer. He was on the practice squad, but they eventually signed him to the roster after so many elevations. Chris Connolly is a quality veteran to have in that room with the rest of the guys. Defensive tackle Kevin Givens returns. I think this is a good move. He's a quality depth piece, rotational guy. I like that move. I also like the bringing back Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, great locker room guy, great special teamer, and could definitely fill in a pinch as well. And he will be in competition for that LB3 spot this year, with Dre Greenlaw likely being sidelined for a while. Bringing back quarterback Brandon Allen. Again, I like them as the third quarterback in the room, and the 49ers go out and get Josh Jobs. I think that's great. Keep some continuity in that room, a familiar face, and a guy who's been a primary backup before for Joe Burrow. You bring back Ben Barch. I think Ben Barch has some upside as an interior offensive lineman, so he will definitely have an opportunity to compete for a final roster spot. So I don't mind that at all. The 49ers extended Colton McKivitz, and I didn't mind that either. A lot of people got bent out of shape about it, but when you look at it, it's really like swing tackle money. And I think it just kind of gives him a sense of security that he will have the opportunity to compete again for that tackle spot. But there's a good chance the 49ers are going to draft a tackle early. So he has some assurance. He played pretty well, all things considered, at tackle again for the value that the 49ers got him for and all those different things. It really wasn't a bad return. And then safety George Odom. He is a guy that the 49ers extend and bring back as a all-pro special teamer. And then we look at Jawan Jennings, who I believe signed his tender. At least he appeared that way, that he posted to social media yesterday. So Jawan appears like he will be back. And then you still have some unrestricted free agents. You have Deshaun Gibson, Ross Dwelly, Logan Ryan, Randy Gregory. I don't expect any of those guys to be back. It doesn't appear the 49ers are bringing back Gibson as they have a safety in the building today. But when you look at all those moves, I think the 49ers got slightly better. I don't think they got a ton better. I think again because Eric Armstead had gone, that kind of weights that down a little bit. Um, but I would say in totality, when you look at all the moves that the 49ers have made, I would say that they probably had a C plus B minus type free agency. They filled a lot of holes. They brought back guys that were deserved to bring back. And I think the Leonard Floyd piece could be a piece that really elevates the whole grade overall. What would your grade be for this entire free agency class? All the moves that have been made this offseason. Again, I don't think the 49ers are done just yet. We could still see a move or two before the draft, but I also think we could see a move or two after the draft. So keep that in mind as well. Let me know what you guys think. What's the grade? Who should they go out and get still? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.